as you guys know, this item has been, it's been coming up for a while now. We do have this down as a discussion of the revisions to Solid Waste Ordinance 94-12. The commission did appoint a committee of 3 people. We have revised the ordinance. It has been picked apart and added to by county legal counsel. The next step in this process is for us to have a public hearing, because as you know, you cannot modify or adopt or rescind an ordinance without having a public hearing. The dates that are going to come about for the public hearing, we cannot have one any sooner than December 23rd, which we do have a commission meeting that day, but it would be my recommendation that we wait until the January 13th meeting to have a public hearing, just to let everyone recoup from the holidays. But I do have, David Saline is on the committee, and he is going to present the changes that we've made, the revisions to the ordinance, if that's okay with the commission.
Okay, so we had a committee that was appointed to look into ordinance 94-12 and update it. A couple things that I want to go on. I think there's some relevant information to the commission here before I even start talking about the ordinance and everything. To this date right now, there is 3,952 current accounts with the Solid Waste Authority. And these accounts are paid up to date, not behind, and are residents that are currently using the system. There are 967 accounts with liens on them. Of those 967 accounts, 450 accounts will pay their balances off, and the liens will be released within a year. Now, this is a revolving door. Anytime a account becomes behind two billing cycles, 2 quarters, it goes to the lien process. So a lot of those 450 liens come off, and a new 450 come on each year. It's a revolving door on that part there. But some other interesting numbers on it is approximately 150 accounts have new owners that are paying the accounts right now, but the lien is on the former property owner and has not been released until it's paid. 150 of those of those 967 liens are there because neither the county assessor's office or the county treasurer's have a good mailing address. When that address is obtained on that property, the owners are contacted, the account balances are written off, the liens are released, and a new account is initiated for that customer. And then out of that 967, it's an approximate number, but there's only about 150 accounts that are property owners that are refusing to pay that. So I wanted you to have those numbers there, because it's very, when we're talking about this ordinance, is how many people it's serving and how many people are paying on their bills. The next part of it, when the committee met on revising ordinance 94-12, we set up a item of goals and what we wanted to achieve out of this. And number 1 item that we as a committee discussed was making sure 94-12 separated Torrance County and the Solid Waste Authority from each other, because they are 2 different government entities. The Solid Waste Authority does provide a service for Torrance County, and the service that it provides is mandated in this ordinance, but the Solid Waste Authority does not set the fees to the county customers. So when we started going through here, the other part we wanted to update on this ordinance is the ordinance was written back in the 90s, and I think it was revised in 2002, but this is when we had dumpsters that were placed at the end of county roads as a solid waste service. They weren't collection stations even formed then. So we went through and started looking at some of the areas. So in the first few pages of the ordinance that you see, I believe the county commission's got a red line version. Yeah. Most of it is on language of what green waste is, hazardous waste is. There's been some changes in there about having to collapse boxes. In the past, you had to collapse your boxes before you could take them in. That's no longer an issue on there. So they changed that language in there and what the language of hazardous waste are. Because at the collection stations, they can now take hazardous waste in household quantities as long as it's in approved containers. Before, you couldn't do any of that. So that was the main part. of the changes in the front side of it. The back side of the changes is in section 12, which were the bigger changes that we need to pay attention to. So if you go to page 7 on section 13, sorry. And the first change was on line B, and it says the county commission shall set the fees for the solid waste based on the actual projected cost to collect, transport, recycle, dispose of such waste. Unmet cost, unpaid fees, or certain discounts by the county commission shall be the responsibility of the county commission. We believe this should be written like this for a couple of different reasons. One, whether it's a solid waste authority or a private entity that is providing the service for you, they give you a total of what it costs to do it, and the county commission can set the fees and or appropriate general fund money, however they want to do it. That's not, that's up to you guys as the commissioners. And this can be voted on yearly if that's what they need to do, or every time a new commissioner comes in, but that allows, the ordinance doesn't have to be changed every time you need to do, change the rates. The other thing that allows is if you had a indigent claim or a person with an indigent claim come to the county commission, or a person wanting disability help or anything like that, they could come before the commission, and the commission could choose to give them that discount off of their bill or not. But then if the commission did the discount, they have to find the money to make up for what was lost. And by changing that one line, there in addition, line E and F and H were able to be striked completely out of the ordinance. So instead of the ordinance dictating exactly how everything is paid on the solid waste, it's the commission that gets to decide what's paid. And I believe that's the big part of the changes to update it.